What is up, YouTube? It's your boy G11 back with another episode of Homie Talk, where we have real discussion about things happening right now. If you guys agree with anything that we say, or if you disagree with anything what we say, let me know down in the comments below. Also, while you're there, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. The channel is over 200 subs strong and growing. We're definitely going to hit that goal of 500 by December, so keep helping the boy out. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guests for tonight. Two good buddies of mine. Let me just add. We got Jude in the building again.
What up?
We got Jude in the building, and we also got Sus.
Yo, fuck. Hold up. I'm supposed to be fixing shit. Hold up.
Always trying to adjust your camera and shit. Here, I'm gonna change your layout a little bit.
I gotta fix my shit.
I'm on the top row.
Yes, good.
You ain't top dog.
Only do one video and I'm on top.
Privilege. Oh, speaking of which, well, before we get into the topics for tonight, how y'all doing tonight? How's your week been?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. We might end up having a recruiter confession moment video.
Oh boy. Oh boy. No, save it. Save it. It's just- you gotta save it for the next Air Force homie talk, or save it for the lounge talk. That one would
Yeah.
be good. That would be really good. But outside of that, everything's been a solid week for you
everything
guys.
is Gucci. As you know, I've now converted my ways and also now have a cat. Maybe one day she will guest star if she learns how to leave the weeb room.
Oh yeah, that's right. All three of us are cat dads.
Oh god.
Yeah, we're all cat dads. Jude just recently got a kitty. You know, maybe she'll come on stream at a later date. But
There he is.
oh yeah, there's your little I was gonna say an explicitive, but there's that lazy son of a gun over there. Just chilling on the cat tree. My cat's somewhere around there doing shit. Shoot, Sus, how you been, man?
It's been a week.
I know. We kind of had some discussion offline about that, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know, stuff happens. Life comes at you fast. You know, you live and you learn. You know,
Yeah. It is what it is.
and you just, you got to operate, better and make yourself better as you go through. Which the whole point of this channel, right, is to have discussions about shit and talk about how we can do better with stuff.
Mhm.
All right. So earlier, Jude mentioned privilege, which is exactly what I was thinking about covering tonight. So actually, you know how I always do my little banner.
Oh,
Bam.
God.
Oh my god. Now I feel trapped. I went into this blind. I feel trapped.
Yeah. I hit you with the trap card.
Sorry to disappoint you, Yugi. Huh? You triggered my trap card!
Do you guys think privilege exists? Do you think it exists? Let's start off with that.
And it depends on the scenario. I feel yes. Fuck it, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a case by case scenario. That's how it is.
Fair enough.
I do want to say I hate the idea that it exists, but it truly does. Just simply growing up, and I mean, I feel like all three of us can agree. We were all taught how to answer a phone because that's going to help us be more marketable.
You
Especially
know what he's talking
when
about, right?
Well, it's in a sense, it's what they call it code switching. You know, when you basically, you know how you would talk around your friends and whatever,
Correct.
but as soon as like you get a call for an interview or whatever, something professional, you for a lack of a better word, let's just say you talk proper.
You put your white voice on.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to go with that. I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
No, we
Or
could-
or the other way about it, like I don't want to be the guy who keeps dropping names. G11. But sometimes it's like, oh, like what are we gonna name our kid? We could go with like Laquan Deja or Dejanay,
Oh
but
God,
then we end up having like
Dejanay.
we end up having like the most Michael Johnson. Like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
And he grew up with his name MJ. You ain't Michael Jordan.
But I get,
Yup,
I get
but-
what you're saying.
Mm.
Like, it's privilege. So I agree with both of y'all. I do think privilege is a real thing. I don't think it's to the extent that like people. Well, typically, I guess the elephant in the room, right, is that people typically associate privilege with like white privilege.
Mhm.
Like, do you guys think that racial privilege is a thing, or do you think it's just something different?
I wouldn't say it's not bound to just being white. It's not.
Mm.
I wouldn't say privilege is just because you are white. It is
Mhm.
more you know categorized that way, but
Yeah.
it's not just because you're white. You can grow up in a, let's just say, privileged or spoiled household,
Sure, sure.
and you could be white, black, Mexican, any race under the sun. And like you can be the most spoiled, pretentious fucking asshole
You
and
can.
be the same color as me and you.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it literally depends on your background. Granted, it can be. It is more heavily categorized towards white people because white people do X, Y, and Z, or their kids are the ones who are out here throwing temper tantrums because they mommy didn't buy them the right Jaguar or daddy, whatever. Just stuff like that. That's what, because it gets, socialized more that way. We see more of that, but it can
Right.
it can happen through any race because it's just the environment you grow up in. You're in that household where mommy and daddy making 6-7 figures and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
they're
is it
more well off. Go ahead.
but is that wrong? So is it I gotta word this proper.
Right.
Is it, do you think
See?
privilege?
See?
Yes, I can see. I gotta word it proper. Do you guys think privilege is a good or bad thing? Right? Like, or is it just something that is? You know what I mean? Like, can it?
So I'm gonna take the wheel on this one, just because. How do I phrase this
See?
in a way that is not gonna have me getting you demonetized? So I feel like there's a lot of stigma behind a lot of things, such as, again, like we see the whole white privilege when it's like, oh yeah, you go to the store, mommy, I want this toy, and then they just have a fit, and the parents don't do anything about it, or they cave, or in the other case, like, yo, I got in trouble, and they lock me up. Versus
Yeah.
white guy does the exact same thing, they slap him on the wrist.
But is
Like,
that is that
like-
all you think? Like
No,
all?
speaking on what he just touched on, the fact that like
Yeah.
there's been instances where it kind of is, it would be considered privilege or being
Sure.
a white privilege, because there's been instances where a white kid and a black kid are charged for the same crime or
Sure.
same thing, and the white kid will get like, let's just say fucking house arrest or a slap on the wrist, but then like the black kid will get fucking years. And or even if the white kid does get time, it's in like a
Minimum
less,
security.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get the maximum security jailhouse, prison, penitentiary shit for the black person, the African American. And that's to me, that is the main thing where it feels like,
Hmm.
privilege comes into play.
So that's the biggest area where you've seen instances of like white privilege is really becoming prevalent. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like prison sentences and police interactions. And I mean, that's that's the most common thing. I mean, I guess a good example to support what you mentioned was you remember that kid who shot up that church a couple years back, and
Yeah.
I think right after the police took him to Burger King or something like that, and they had the picture of him. Versus like if for sure, if it was a black individual who did the same thing, he probably
He
wouldn't
would have
have
been
got.
shot on scene.
And like,
Facts.
what's the shit where like you'll see these fucking, I can't say that because that sounds kind of fucked up. But you will see these white individuals, these just like fucking fully loaded with guns and shit, just walking up to the police like, and not a goddamn thing is fucking done.
They'd
But
be
then
full
like,
on yeehaw out there, I'll tell you.
but no, the police, or they'll threaten the police with their guns and shit, and nothing will happen. But like, soon as it turns around and is on the
Mhm.
other foot with a black person, granted, black people, I'll categorize myself in this shit too because we got to
Mhm.
do better. We
Yeah.
we got to do better because if it was the shoe was on the other foot and it was a black person, say me for instance, I'd be gunned down in a heartbeat.
True.
And it's like where we are in a society, as a black man, why do we have to fear getting stopped by a police officer that we might not make it home that day,
Hmm.
because it is more common knowledge to fear a black man because you don't know what he can do, opposed to a white man or another race.
So I think we're
What?
flirting with bias a little bit here, with racial bias.
Right.
You know what I mean? I do I do often, especially lately in the past like couple years, seen a lot of police interactions gone wrong with black people. And we're kind of straying a little bit, but let's fuck it. Let's go down the rabbit hole. um,
Hey,
fuck it. Let's go down the rabbit hole. It is a little bit of how we conduct themselves. It is societal bias on how people think we act. But then, like getting onto a deeper level of that, it's like what we portray ourselves as. Like you look at what black people, especially black men, are portrayed as in the media. You look at what we portray ourselves as in the music. You look at you know, you look at all the different avenues on how black people are represented in the public view, and it's not necessarily in the best light. You
Because
know,
we are portrayed as rappers, thugs, gangsters, ignorant,
but we have
and
the power to change that.
but it,
We do have the power to change that.
we do, but it's so far. I don't know.
it's so far gone that even if we tried to turn this around, not to steal your thunder, but even if we tried to turn this around, I guarantee you the first thing that's going to happen. Well, why aren't you like XYZ that was happening before?
Right.
True. I could see that happening. Like
Right.
go back to how you were before.
Even because even if we do try to, there has been people who have tried to break the mold and get out of the
Mhm.
the racial profiling,
Mhm.
and it's 9 times out of 10 is met with criticism, harsh criticism at that,
Mhm.
where you are basically shunned out of establishments, or you just know not invited, or just low key, just excommunicated.
Sure.
It's ridiculous, because at the end of the day, you want to live your life to better yourself. That's how I will. That's how I try to do.
You
You
don't
don't
get
want to.
invited to the cookout anymore.
You don't get invited to the cookout because your ass put fucking raisins in your potato salad. We don't do
eat
that
their food. We don't eat their food over here. Mhm. No, but I do get what you're saying. Did you have anything on that?
Well, I just kind of tied into where he was going. I suspect, correct me if I'm wrong. That's where you were going, right?
Yeah, that was pretty much where I was going.
So, I mean, kind of circling it back around, this also comes into that privilege aspect, because obviously there's all those biases out, and though it's not necessarily talked about, there's that, what was it that people were saying, like backing out, like they'll take your black card, right?
Yeah, that's a thing. Yep.
So you don't act a certain way. Like, I know we hit this up in the Air Force episode, but like when we mentioned like being nerds, like that's okay now. But
Yep.
me playing trumpet in the band, first thing was like, well, what band are you in? Well, I'm doing marching, and then I did jazz. Okay, cool. You can keep your black card because you're still doing jazz. And I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, I like music. Like, what's so wrong with that?
Right.
Well, do you play ball? No, I am not coordinated.
You are the most uncoordinated motherfucker. You trip over your own toenails.
I'm the black kid who's picked after the white kid who got picked last.
I mean, in all fairness, I have no handle. I can shoot all day, but I mean, I can't handle the ball for shit. I can't take it to the middle.
Shooting in the trash can, throwing your paper away. Shut up.
You're just hating. Just hate. That's the problem with the black community. We just hate. Drinking all that haterade, man. God dog. But
well, even haterade aside, like again, it turns around. Like we talked about, like we hyped up talking about the black card, like what, like most of the 2000s, and then all of a sudden we start calling each other king, want to love each other now.
Oh god.
That's true.
Honestly, that whole king queen thing makes me sick. I'm sorry.
It came with the right mindset. It was just implemented at the wrong time. That's how I feel. Because it was meant to, help us do better and push us to strive to do better, and not just individually, but as a whole.
Right.
And it was just implemented at the wrong time, because people are, most people are not welcoming change. You would rather be consistent than rather to see a deliberate change that, most people, let's just say, scared to, approach.
Right.
Because we as humans get complacent.
We do.
More than others. And
we get comfortable.
Yeah.
If you want to. Yeah.
And now, plot twist, as I reveal my trap card here. Bringing it full circle, like, is it because of that fear of change that we start instilling this privilege, though? Because if you think about it, not necessarily saying like this goes back to specifically white people, but turn around is like, oh, well, my family did this before me, so it's cool.
True.
Let's just say that goes down like the line of tradition. Traditions are cool to have, but traditions without change only leaves, scrutiny and, my generation was better than your generation.
A lot of that in the Air Force.
Look, but, I will take whatever they're doing now over being way back, getting a napkin dispenser thrown at my head. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wall-to-wall counseling.
No, let's bring that one back. What?
Bring it back.
But so I'm gonna throw another plot twist at you guys, and this is something I've been kind of thinking about. Um, do you guys? I think privilege is sometimes used as a cop out for why things don't work out. Example, like we kind of just covered racial privilege, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't get the job, so it must be white privilege, or I didn't get the loan, white privilege. Although my credit is like 400. Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
And let's
I,
on behalf of like the let's just say the job aspect,
Mhm.
it can be
It can
like
be.
a privilege thing. It's a case by case scenario. One, there's an instance where let's just say somebody at my job,
Hmm.
he felt he was due to get this spot,
Sure.
and let's just say somebody else who had more experience and has been doing this position a lot longer than somebody who's fresh off the line
Hmm.
got this spot. And it has nothing to do with like racial profiling or racial
Sure.
uh fucking privilege or anything, because they're both the same ethnicity.
Sure.
But it's the fact that this person had way more experience and is a better fit to just jump in the fire and not get burned, opposed to you this other one just sinking as soon as they hit the water. And
Fair enough. Yeah.
that's where an instance where it's not, it's understandable, but it's not just privilege based. And say like there's been times where I myself have seen people who were privileged because they knew the manager or knew the higher up or related to them, because
But
they're
is that wrong though? That's called
it,
networking.
yes, but at the same time it's using your networking in a selfish, is I want to call it selfish desire or manner, because understand,
Mhm.
having people in higher places is by all means that's a shoe in, that's great to have,
Mhm.
but it's like when you are undercut from somebody having more experience than you, who's been in the spot longer than you,
Mhm.
being you know just being sniped out of your spot. It's like that is kind of privilege, or where it's like that's kind of fucked up, truth be told. And
You're
like I've witnessed it, because shit, I used to work at Walmart, and I, for a lead position that I wanted to go for, I got taken out because they were related to the manager.
oh, so
And
nepotism.
yeah,
right,
different kind of thing there, but I get what you're saying.
but
I
my
mean,
point is like, yeah, but my point was the fact that like it's
y-
different aspects to it.
yeah,
That's true, because, again, swinging in just to show that this is all over the place. Good old
right.
boy system in the Air Force. Like,
Yes.
oh, we all hang out and, you got your knee pads. We work with you.
That's
Okay.
That's that's something you do on behind closed doors. You don't let
Hey,
nobody
but
know.
here's the thing. Like, you'll see it, because it'll be like me, for example. Yeah, Chris came in
Here,
after me,
been to
and he
me.
probably earned
Oh,
his rank the right
here we
way.
go. Here we go.
I I bust my ass to study, but lo and behold, because somebody knows the right people,
Facts.
they get credit for my work all of a sudden to look
Yep.
to look shit hot, and I'm just here like to them just doing my job because I don't want to play the game.
Yep.
Like I want to do what's right, but I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, that is a real thing. It is a goddamn game being in the military. But you're right, you miss out and you miss a potential, leg up in the form of like a promotion statement because they took credit for what you did. Damn, that's
You
a
know what you
real.
should have did? You know, as soon as you found out, should have got on the Segway.
Here we go.
You know where I'm going.
Drop kick him and backflip and land on it, and then right
Yeah.
away.
So,
Yeah.
so you see, I'm gonna keep this real low key, but you know, we play flag football on occasion, and
I fucked him up.
Give me that flag.
I'm what flag? It was an accident.
Right?
You picked an uncoordinated motherfucker. It's an accident.
What was that move? The Goldberg.
The spear.
Yeah.
By Goldberg.
Stone Cold stuff.
Yeah, that too. That too.
The people's elbow.
Like, we weren't playing contact. I thought we were full contact. Oh, okay, my bad.
Hey, y'all told me eyes on the ball. I don't know what happened.
They said NFL. They said NFL blitz rules.
Bro, you over here trying to murder people at that point.
What you
Hey,
talking
but-
about? Murder is illegal. TM.
Right? Right?
All right, fair enough.
But you know what, to kind of bring this back in, guys, I do, you know, what the original question is, privilege exists. Yes, I do think it exists. I don't think it's always good or bad. I think it just is. It just depends on how you use it, right? And how you know, if you're aware of it. You know, because you have instances where it's privilege that you didn't necessarily earn. Like if you're born into a family and you have both your parents, right? That's a privilege, having both your parents. Or say you decided to be fit instead of being fat. I mean, people call it skinny privilege, but it's just being healthy. That's a privilege.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
right?
You know, it's different types, and I think it's just being aware of it, understanding it, and not necessarily looking at it as a bad thing, you know, and utilizing whatever privilege you do have for your benefit. I don't think that's wrong, you know. And the example we use, getting a job, you know, someone getting a job above you, there's always a loser and a winner in life with things that we do. You know, it sucks when you miss out on something and you're in the losing position, right? But that person used his privilege of, you know, knowing whoever to get that position. You know, so it just kind of is what it is.
I mean,
Closing
I can
thoughts?
just say you hit the nail on the head, but I believe in 100% equality. You get the
Fair
people
enough.
who are needed. None of this privilege nonsense, but I'm just one guy and we live in a society. Halloween's coming up. I'm getting my Joker makeup ready.
Hey, we're gonna do the Incredibles this year.
Oh yeah, no, you missed it. You got another one on the way.
No,
You
we
got Jack.
we ain't got no damn Jack.
You can't be the Incredibles then.
We could be 3/4 or 4/5 of the Incredibles. Wait, was
What are you
it?
talking about? Just put the cat in the suit.
Oh yeah, there you go. The cat could be Jack.